Are you ready for the best Kansas City Chiefs insight? Welcome to ChiefsBlitz.com YouTube podcast with your hosts, Nick Athan, Andre Tillman, and producer Hense Todd. They'll break down the three-time Super Bowl champions as only they can do. Here's your host, Nick Athan.
Welcome back to the next edition of the Chiefs Blitz Podcast. I am your host, Nick Athan, former publisher of Warpaint Illustrated, now the top dog at ChiefsBlitz.com as we dive back into covering one of our favorite topics, the Kansas City Chiefs. Want to talk about a couple sponsors before we get the show. Want to talk about first my good friend Dave Purdy at Supreme Lending. If you're looking pretty good. If you're looking for a loan, from a good loan, whether you're self-employed, whether you work for a company, if you just want to see if you can maybe qualify for a little bit more for your dream house, give Dave Purdy a call at 816-405-5831. Again, 816-405-5831 and MLS number 7496 for the legalities. So if you're looking for a lender, you're going to be looking for a real estate agent as well. Bringing Eric Haynes on board. He's going to be our new sponsor effective November 1st. He's with SunWest Real Estate Advisors, part of KW. You can reach Eric at 816-729-3785. But hey, for both these guys, don't worry if you don't live in the Kansas City area. They will hook you up and make sure that you're taken care of. But give them both a call first because they'll guide you through the process. Anyway, that's it for those guys. Appreciate you guys. Some new graphics will be up here in about a week or so that we shout out to Lynn Schmidt. Weird Wolf, if you've seen him on TV, he's even on a Taylor Swift commercial or Taylor Swift ad or something like that.
Of course he is.
Props to him. He's one of the best, if not the best, super fan of all time covering the Kansas City Chiefs. So welcome, gents. Hense, producer extraordinaire. Hello. Lou, the old man, the other old man with me. Hey. And then there's the other guy. The Cardinals fan. The anti-Chief, all that wrapped up in one beautiful piece right there. And with that said, before we get started, breaking news, the Seattle Seahawks have signed three-time Pro Bowl rusher Frank Clark. He is not coming to Kansas City.
Going back home.
There you go.
Back to Seattle.
Breaking news. That is breaking news.
That's breaking news. So it'll be out there everywhere. But on to the show.
News.
Yeah, new news. I can't steal that, man. I don't. Well, I would do anything to interview one of the Kelsey boys. I have so many questions for those guys. Hey, also real quick note: the Christian Okoye interview will debut tomorrow. Had a few things we needed to work through to make sure that it's put together. Hense is doing a bang up job, so that'll debut tomorrow morning. It'll be we'll update on Facebook and Twitter. You don't want to miss it. We had a great time with Christian. But coming up this week, little news. Justin Ross gets in a little trouble. We got the Donkeys week. We got Thursday Night Football with the Bills, who are struggling, and against the Tampa Bay Bucks, who are also kind of struggling as well. So it doesn't bode well for an upset. But nonetheless, Chiefs got a big game this weekend. This is important.
The Madden curse.
Yeah, there's no question about it. But before we get too far down the road with all that, let's talk about Justin Ross. I mean, obviously the arrest on Monday, he pled not guilty. Yesterday he was released, I think on a relatively low bond, $2,500. So it wasn't like it was outrageous. A couple of misdemeanor charges, but nonetheless, according to Jordan Foote, who was at the press conference today with Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes, Patrick says, "We love Justin. I don't know too many of the details as far as that goes. In this locker room, it's a brotherhood, so we just try to pick up each other as much as possible." And Andy Reid said, "We're taking in all the information and have been. We'll continue to do that. We'll just take it from there." But he is practicing with the team today. So, guys, I don't know your thoughts on it. I mean, I've been around long enough to deal with a few police blotters from the Chiefs players and going back to some stuff that's never been revealed. And we won't go there on this show, that's for sure. But it's not a good look for Justin. He's really been struggling to get playing time. They've used him as a decoy. They've used him a lot in special teams. But you guys love this guy. I love him too. But sounds like the Chiefs might just stick with him for a little longer.
I'm gonna go first because I never go first on this, folks. So Lou always go first. Trey,
all right. You got the floor.
I got the floor.
Just go first, sir.
I'll put it like this: all the young guys, man, just do a FBI background check on the girls you date, the people you're around, the you know what I mean, the clubs you choose, the parties, events you choose to go to, the people you have around your house, and just your circle. I always tell my kids, don't be a circle, be a square, because a square cannot fit inside a circle. So stop, just be that guy to stand out, man. This just got to stop. You make too much. You got guys out here, you make too much money to be in these type of situations. If a girl is tripping, call 911. You're not a
square.
Call a 911. Just call 911 and get away from the situation. And because all it's going to do is take away from what they call the young folks like to call today your bag. You know what I mean? You're going to take away from your bag, your family eating on the food on their table for their family, and all that. So and also he's out there pushing for a starting spot at a wide receiver. So you got to have all that encounter. Like if she's tripping, or if the situation's not bad for you, walk away, get up, grab your keys, whatever you got to do, get out that situation. Go ahead.
Let me say something real quick. Red Salsa said it's chaos. It's chaos. The young you dating is chaos because they don't have no morale or nothing like that. They don't stand on tradition, so it's chaotic. But at the same time, you gotta understand what's in front of you, and you have the bag in front of you. So, ain't no excuses. Just be around people that has a lot of wisdom pertaining to the situation, and you'll be okay.
Well, it's certainly not ideal, and my colleagues here are giving great advice, for people just in general. It does take two to tango. We don't know the entire situation. So, I hear what you're saying about, being around different people, but you also have to kind of control yourself as well. I'm looking at it, as far as Justin is concerned, is again, it's not ideal. It's not a good look, but if you look into like the psychology of the situation, and maybe some of the frustrations that he is feeling. A few years back, he's like the number one wide receiver coming out of high school. He was a sensation as a freshman at Clemson in the state or in the national championship game. I mean, he was up there among the elite. He gets hurt and he never really regains that status, but I'm sure in his mind he's looking at guys like Chase, Jefferson, a lot of these young receivers, and he's like, I finally get back on the field and I'm fighting for snaps. Our team has trouble at wide receiver and I can't get mine. I'm not saying any of this has anything to do with why this happened, but I'm sure there's things going on in his life that made things bubble over. So I'm going to, hold judgment till we hear a little bit more and see what the Chiefs end up doing. Because I think if he's straight with them, he will have another opportunity.
The situation is not the Kareem Hunt situation. Kareem misled the organization that he had taken care of the business off the field, settled the issue once and for all, and he lied to the owner. You don't do that in survive. Justin has not gotten in trouble, never got in trouble at Clemson, never had an issue. It was very clearly indicated this is the first time that he's been charged with anything like this. And we've all had girlfriends and wives, and sometimes things raise to a level that emotions stir. But athletes are also targets. And, you just look at what happened with Trevor Bauer and all that madness with him. And, if I think Hense, you make a great point. You just stay away from it, avoid it. The Chiefs are one of the few teams in the NFL that have a tremendous counseling program. They talk to their players, they nurture their players, they help them with their finances. They really, from the ground floor, when they enter the league, they work with these kids. And, Ross, again, doesn't have a history of this. We don't know all the details. I think a lot of people in the media jumped the gun, put some stuff out there that wasn't accurate. We waited till the next day till we kind of knew specifically what the charges were before we made any, true commentary about it. But for Justin Ross, I mean, clearly the Chiefs still have plans for him. Whether or not he plays this week or not remains to be seen. But the fact he's on the practice field today, the fact that Patrick Mahomes said what he said about the brotherhood, that tells me they're going to give this guy a second chance and they're going to help him. And who knows? He goes back to court in December. He did plead not guilty out until sometime next year, before we have any kind of resolution. But it's less than $1,000 in damage, and there were no felony charges. So I'll take that as a positive. But nonetheless, it sounds like the Chiefs are gonna work with him.
Yeah, there's only one way. There's only one way you can. Only one way you got to do it. Like my grandma said, rest her soul. You got to do an FBI background check on the people you date. And I use that, what she was saying is you got to investigate everything. You never know. You never know.
Let's not throw his girl. Let's not throw his girl.
Well, let's not throw her under the bus. We know nothing. We know nothing about her. She could be a lovely woman, and they just got upset about something. And who knows? Again, no judgment here. I've seen a lot worse. I've witnessed a lot worse, and this is a masculine sport, and sometimes players don't keep the game at the stadium and the practice field.
A lot of testosterone.
Yeah, a lot of testosterone. Again, we're not saying. Okay, next topic.
Let's talk some football.
We burned a hole through this one.
It's Red Wednesday at Chiefs Blitz today, guys. Look at this. Completely unscripted, completely unplanned. We're all wearing red. Let's go.
So we got to get an update. What's the update on Nick Bolton? Nick, what's the update?
I'm gonna give props out to my son Cole because he is a surgical technician, and this is what he said, just to give you guys an idea of the kind of surgery. Because Andy Reid discussed it today and indicated there was no pins, plates, or screws put in. Basically, for the dislocated wrist, he's getting what they call a closed reduction, and basically it's an incision they make. Takes 5 minutes. There's not much of an incision. It takes 5 minutes, where they just kind of pull things together a little bit. So if that is the case, then we're looking at 4, 6, 8 weeks in range in there. The Chiefs do have a bye week coming up after they blitzkrieg the Dolphins in Germany in about a week and a half. But it sounds like he could be back in mid-December at the latest. Best case scenario, early December. But he'll be ready for the stretch run. So the fact that they didn't have to actually do an incision, at least if this is the same thing that they're talking about. But Andy did confirm today that he didn't have to put anything inside there. So this probably was just to close the distance between the strain, and that's good news. So I think for Nick Bolton, listen, they've got Drew Tranquil. He's been absolutely fabulous. He can play the middle. He can make the defensive calls, so they're in good shape there. So I'm thinking best case scenario, early December, worst case scenario, maybe by Christmas Day.
Cole guys? Props, Cole Athan. You don't get that on every other show, man.
No, man, you don't.
Hey, guys, real quick, it's kind of like Aaron Rodgers. Remember, Aaron Rodgers had an ACL. Was ACL right? I ain't mistaken, right?
No, it's Achilles heel.
Okay, Achilles heel, right? It's something like the same injury, the same situation, right? He
Not
might come
close,
back.
But go ahead.
No, but in the sense of the surgery, right? In the sense of the surgery, he might come back this year.
Yeah, I don't see it. I mean, I think he'd be crazy too.
Bolton certainly does.
Yeah, but I think Aaron Rodgers would be jeopardizing the rest of his career if he came back this early. I know it's a new procedure, and I know some guys have come back sooner. Cam Akers, I think, did it in 6 months.
He did,
which was quite remarkable. But again, what's amazing about all this is that the surgical abilities and these new devices that people use, and I mean, they are really shortening the gap with a lot of injuries. The only one it seems like it still takes forever is Tommy John surgery, but everything else, seems to be shortening the gap quite a bit with the latest technology. But Rodgers would be foolish to come back. But the good news is we're definitely going to see Nick Bolton at some point in December.
Yep.
Okay. And speaking of that, let's go ahead and get into the week 7 passing leaders. And we all know who sits at the top of that chart, Patrick Mahomes. What'd you think about that, Coach Dre? What'd you think about the leaders of the NFL of week 7 in passing yards? I'm going to show you the graph to go ahead and go.
Oh, go ahead. There you go. Talk to me, sir. Oh, 424. I mean, that's Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes does that, and it's not even close. But Cousins, remember Lou talked about that before the show, a pocket passer. Pocket passer, 378. I like that because it's earned it. Lamar Jackson has got a whole lot better too, guys. Honestly, Lamar, been staying more in the pocket, been delivering out the pocket. Usually, the old Lamar Jackson would hurry up and run off, but this Lamar Jackson a little bit more mature. I like what he's doing. Right, I love what he's doing. Minshew, 305. I like Minshew. He's average. He's okay. I get it. Derek Carr 301. What's surprising is Derek Carr, like these numbers from Derek Carr, I expect him to be a whole lot higher, but at the same time, you only work with what you have. So I like the list. Not a bad list.
Yeah, I think obviously, Patrick's the best quarterback in the NFL. He's the best player in the National Football League. There's there's absolutely no debate. Kirk Cousins, man, that's a tough hombre. I mean, he took a beating against the 49ers on Monday night. He got hit on virtually every play, and he hung in there. And if you watch that Netflix series, I mean, it's just every play, man. He just got hit. Lamar Jackson. Listen, I'm not a big fan. I think the difference for Lamar Jackson this week was they really bottled him up to run, and they forced him to pass. And the difference this week versus their collapse against Pittsburgh the week earlier was that the receivers held onto the ball. So if he develops into being a good pocket passer, and they've got some great weapons. I mean, Flowers.
Yeah, they do.
Man, I would have killed to have him on the Chiefs roster. But I mean, he's got weapons. Now Beckham's been injured. Who knows with that? And I kind of put him in the Deshaun Watson category. Do they really want to play bad enough? But nonetheless, he's played well. Minshew, hey, listen, he put up a lot of points against the Browns. But to me, Mahomes is clearly number one. But Cousins, man, I just love that guy. I hope he gets traded to a contender. If he doesn't stay with the Vikings next year, I hope he goes to a really good team. Put him on the New England Patriots and see what he can do.
I like that, Nick. I like that. Him with New England. I like that.
I think that'd be a perfect,
good fit
spot for him.
You like that.
Good one. I do.
All right. So this just in, Patrick is really good. And he had a really good game. And did I say Patrick's really good? Well, I guess the Chargers' pass defense isn't the greatest. Okay, so we got to take it with a little bit of grain of salt. But Patrick can go for this type of game just about every week. It's just really a matter of the receivers getting open and catching the ball. I mean, you talked about Lamar's guys catching the ball. As long as Rice keeps coming along and Kelsey is Kelsey, these numbers are going to be possible every week. You want to see, Sky come along a little bit more. MVS made his appearance. We talked about this on Monday where, it seemed like maybe McCall influenced him when I had thought he was going to influence Tony a little bit more. But even Tony looked like he was a little bit more involved, even though I think he only caught one ball. So I don't know. In terms of Kirk Cousins, I mean, I've really liked this guy since he came out of Michigan State. He gets drafted the same year as RG3 gets drafted. So, is he going to play? So he did get to play, and here he is. I mean, he's like one of the masters of the league in terms of Hall of Fame, the dollars. I mean, he's made more guaranteed money than just about any quarterback ever. Right? So yeah, I mean, and every week the list is going to be a little bit different. I don't know if you're going to see Gardner Minshew up there on a regular basis. I don't know that you're going to see Derek Carr on a regular basis, but the other three guys are probably going to be, in contention just about every week. But yeah, Patrick had a great game, and we'll see this week in Denver if we can kind of build on this momentum.
But who's more impressive? Cuz I think Cuz was more impressive though.
You gotta leave.
It was against the Niners defense. So I would
that was impressive, I think.
So you got to give him his props. No Justin Jefferson. Now Jordan Addison made some big plays. Nick, you talked about Zay Flowers. Addison is another one of those dudes that you say, wow, that he would have looked good in red too. But again, Rashee Rice, if he gets the opportunities, he can be every bit as good. So Kirk's performance was stellar. He's MVP of the week for me.
And speaking of MVP of the week, I think Travis Kelce should be the MVP of the week. He had 179 yards against the Chargers. He is a Charger killer. What you think about that, Dre? What you think about it?
Well, he is. He kills the Chargers every time they meet. Every time, man. It's like, what are y'all doing? Y'all know, like, he's the focal point. Like, he kills y'all every time. Like, what defenses are y'all running? Like, you can't play him man-to-man. You can't play him zone. He just knows the Chargers. He just kills the Chargers every time. And it's not fair. It's not fair. Like, he just got a thing with the Chargers.
Works for me.
So Travis is a cheat code, is what he is.
Yeah, he's the best. He's the best cheat code. I mean, it's remarkable, man. You just keep watching the film and you watch these plays, and man, even with 2 and 3 guys around him, he finds a soft spot in the zone. It's just, I think it was on Nick Wright's show on FS1, and I think Wild said that it might have been Wild or somebody said that he was the best fantasy football player ever in Travis Kelce. Just because, no, it was Ian Rappaport. Sorry, I want to make sure I get my guys right. Ian Rappaport said that. And I thought it was pretty fascinating. And you look at his career and you look at game in and game out. I mean, here's a guy that's like, 179 yards, no problem. He's had, 100 yards and receptions in the first half of the last 2 games. His touchdowns are maybe down a little bit, but it's just everybody keys on him. And I think this is the first game that we watched offensively where that Patrick was like, okay, they're keying on him. I'm going to spread the ball out. But then I go back to Travis because then they start focusing on other guys in the passing routes. And where Rashee Rice, when he steps up and Tony and Sky Moore and MVS, you start to have that kind of success that you mentioned, Andre, that changes things. But Kelce's just he's the one guy you just don't want to lose. He's the one guy you don't want to take out of the equation ever. I think the Chiefs can still win football games. Obviously, they won a few with the backup quarterback when Patrick was out, as long as Kelce's in the game. But who's going to stop him? Nobody. Who's going to prevent him from making plays? And he's got his best girl in the stands, and he's living high on the hog, and he's on top of the world, and he just takes none of it for granted. And it shows on the football field. That's what I find absolutely amazing. He could have mailed in a second half with a good first half performance, but every play, every snap, every drive, his demand within himself for excellence is just it's the best I've seen from a consistent basis. You take out his rookie year, he got hurt, and then he had some TUD problems to deal with in year 2 and a little bit into year 3 before Andy slapped him around enough and said, hey, can't do that anymore. And now he's turned into the greatest tight end of all time. There's nobody who's going to convince me otherwise. He may not get some of the numbers of the other guys, but for what he's had to do with the type of defenses he's had to face, that this is just mighty, mighty impressive.
Okay, 2 things. In terms of fantasy football, especially if in your league, your tight end is its own position, you're going to dominate the league from that position every time because there's no tight end that puts up these types of numbers. That's 1. 2, I think I found a new comp. We're talking about Travis and Larry Bird. I brought one that's more up to date. Travis and Nikola Jokic. Same thing. They don't seem to be moving really fast. They don't seem to really be trying very hard, but somehow, some way, he'll nail the three, or somehow he takes 2 dribbles, and the next thing you know, he's putting one up over Anthony Davis, and it's like, why don't they guard this guy? Get on him. You know he's going to shoot it. Get out there. Put a hand up, and it doesn't happen. And I was just watching the Nuggets and the Lakers last night. I was like, that's Kelsey right there.
And you can't stop. And the crazy part about it, you can't stop him.
He puts up numbers no matter what. But as far as that list is concerned, and again, Travis is good. Okay, well, same thing as with the other one. This just in.
Luka is on there too.
Patrick's really good. Travis is really good. But still, we've got to give the ultimate props to Puka Nacua. This is one of the most incredulous runs to start a career ever. And we thought maybe, it's because, Cooper Kupp is Cooper's back. Cooper is back. And the guy ran, I don't know what they say. He ran like a 4.8 40 at the combine. He got pushed way down. The dude just produces every single week.
He just gets open. It's a natural.
Some crazy catches. If you see some of the toe drag swag, the toe taps on the sideline, Puka Nacua, remember that name. I mean, start talking about MVPs. I know the Rams are doing, tremendously well, but they're playing really good. Puka Nacua, man. You're looking at this AJ Brown, he's going to be up there. Joshua Palmer, I'm sure Spags doesn't like seeing that, and the DBs don't like seeing that on this list. Josh Downs, another rookie, North Carolina.
That's my guy.
For my guy. So some unlikely names, but let's give some props to our guy from BYU, Puka Nacua.
Absolutely, and this will be the best wide receiver draft class, I think in the history of the NFL when we look back 3 years from now.
And speaking of him, man, how did everybody pass on him? You know what I mean?
Like I said, he ran slow at the combine.
Right, Luke. It's the combine. You see, people think okay, you're not that fast, you're not gonna be good.
I don't think he was out a lot of last season. He didn't play much.
But they don't equate. They make the assumption of speed. And you're a winner. And you're a winner.
Absolutely. You got to have it. Yeah.
But again, what y'all saying, it's not about speed. It's about the IQ and your route running. And the man just has it.
Yeah.
Because Jerry Rice wasn't really the fastest guy coming out the draft. He wasn't the fastest.
He was not. No.
And speaking of just having it, man. It's let's get into the MVP odds right now, looking at the numbers. And who sits at top of the list. It's just the man that's have it. Since he was born, he was MVP. You know what I mean? Since he took his first steps, it was MVP. Since he took his first words was MVP. Pat. So let's go ahead and get into it. What y'all think about the odds of Tua, Jalen Hurts, Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, Brock Purdy, Trey Lawrence, Christian McCaffrey? Who else you think that's missing off the list? Or you think that the list is correct?
Christian McCaffrey.
I tell you what, I'm not going to give up on Joe Burrow just yet.
Talk to him, Nick.
They got a big game at San Francisco.
I'm not going to let you say nothing about Joe Burrow. No.
Let's just hear me out.
Go ahead.
He's facing a must-win. If the Bengals lose this game, with everybody in the division winning last week during their bye week, the fact that he's still not 100%. Listen, I maintain this. I think if you just line the guys up from 1 through 5, Joe Burrow is the second best quarterback in the NFL behind Patrick Mahomes when he's healthy and his offensive line is protecting him. Now, we know Orlando Brown Jr. has been an absolute disaster. He even got benched in the last game. He did for a rookie. And that's not going to get any better. And they're stuck with him for at least this season and next season. But I think if you look at the list, Patrick Mahomes has put up great numbers. Not, oh my God, these are the best numbers ever. I think the thing, if you put these guys up there and you look at those players, what's the one thing that Patrick Mahomes has that they don't? And that is his willingness to coach his teammates, to work with his wide receivers. Now, I'm not saying that Tua doesn't, or Jalen Hurts, Lamar, I'm not really sure. Josh Allen probably does, but the Buffalo Bills have a whole mess of other offensive problems to deal with. But with Patrick, to go from winning a Super Bowl, carrying 50 years of sadness on his shoulders, to winning the Super Bowl, to losing Tyreek, everybody doubting him. He wins another Super Bowl. And what's the narrative this year? Well, the receivers aren't good enough. Well, they were pretty darn good the other night. Mm-hmm. And if they play that consistency, but again, that's because he works with them from March, April, May, June, July, August, September. We're in October. And he's still showing patience and belief in these guys. And it's his responsibility to make them better, along with the coaches. But I think that's what makes him so special. And not a lot of people talk about him. And I put it in a column earlier in the week. It's just his willingness to be the ultimate teammate and to sacrifice whatever it means and whatever it takes, to work with these guys, to get them up to speed, to when the schedule turns to the Monday night game against the runner-up Super Bowl guys in Philadelphia, and you start playing Buffalo, and you play Cincinnati, and you got to go to New England, you got to go to Green Bay, and you got to go to these places, historic places, that they're ready for the moment. And that's why I think he's the best MVP. I think what we saw with Tua in their 2 losses, they're not going to win. They're not going to win games on the road. So I'm not too concerned about that. Jalen Hurts, I love him. I think in the NFC, he's the best quarterback by far. I don't think it's even close. The fact that Kirk Cousins isn't mentioned in here is kind of a shock too, because I think he's a better quarterback than Brock Purdy. But for me, the intangibles that Patrick brings I don't think the rest of the guys do.
It's leadership. It's for real. Honestly, though, Nick, it's leadership. Yeah. It's the willing to win. It's the will to win. And we all watched him from the Super Bowl, the first Super Bowl, when he led the charge against the Texans. Like, ever since that game, for me, showed what Patrick Mahomes is all about. Like, he's going to keep their heads lifted up, and he believes, like, guys, we can do this. And that's the separation from the whole list, is the fact that he has that willing to win, and he's putting the team on his back. So that's why he's number 1 right now.
Well, to be the elite of the elite, do you make the guys around you better?
There you go.
I mean, Nick said it, maybe in a different way, but I think at the end of the day, in game situations, can you lift those guys to be even better than they think they are? And in a lot of cases, he does that, whether it was MVS, in the championship game, and
Juju.
He's out there and he's completing passes to Kemp, a special teamer, or a practice squad player. And it's like, okay, that's the difference. So, and I always look at, I go to the NBA and I like Magic Johnson, guys like that. Do you make the guys around you better and elevate in those moments? So that's why he's at the top. Now, whether he wins it or not, then it becomes, now the subjectiveness comes into it, the voters, and just the Mahomes fatigue, if you would. Mm-hmm. We've talked about this before, where Michael Jordan in his prime was the MVP of the league every year. But did he get the award? No. Right? LeBron James, during his peak, MVP, is certainly the best player in the league. Did he get the award every year? Does he get it? No. So I think that's the thing, is when it comes to the MVP, it's like they're always looking for the story or the next big thing and say, well, we had it first. So I like that he's there. He's the betting favorite. You have to make a case. It's almost like you're voting against his previous deeds, right? Okay. He has to supersede what he's done in the past, not just better than everybody else. He has to supersede what he's done in the past for him to get the award, even though what he's doing is better than everybody else. So, I mean, Christian McCaffrey, I think if this wasn't a quarterback award, could certainly be higher than what Purdy is. Maybe some of these defensive players, like a TJ Watt, earn some conversation, or Myles Garrett, but you're probably not going to see that. So one of these quarterbacks, Lamar probably has the best chance because he hasn't won it in a while. And if he puts up numbers, and we're sick of seeing Patrick win these awards, let's give it to Lamar. So
how about Myles Garrett? Like you said, Myles Garrett is playing at a great all-time next level.
The days of the defensive player winning the MVP, I think, are long gone.
Yeah, I think they're long gone.
Yeah.
Man, my gosh, that dude's playing lights out, man. He's playing
Who was LT the last one, Nick?
I think LT was.
Probably so. That would be my guess too.
We're going back some years, man.
Okay.
I thought JJ Watt. Didn't JJ Watt win one or no?
He won defensive player of the year like 3 years in a row.
Yeah.
Okay.
Never the MVP though.
But as a speak of my case, man, Patrick Mahomes is better than Tua, Jalen Hurts, Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, Brock Purdy, Trey Lance, and Christian Mahomes. But again, I don't think
there's a trend on this show. We all think Patrick is really good.
Yeah.
Now, first of all, Josh Allen shouldn't be on this list at all. He shouldn't be on the list. He shouldn't be thinking about talking about Josh Allen. Josh Allen, he's going to choke in the playoffs. And Tua.
That's the choking. That's what the pitch should have been on Josh Allen. It should have been on him, not Herbert.
Okay. Hey, listen. Okay. Josh Allen's mistakes right now have to do with the head coach and their offensive coordinator, Ken Dorsey, more than anything else. The kid is so talented and he wants to win so badly. But man, I think they're putting 70% of the plays on him to either pass the ball or run the ball, and not enough other guys are stepping up. But that's an offensive design.
He's a strong running back.
In the purest sense of most valuable players, somebody that carries. Now, obviously, Patrick carries a lot, but what they put on Josh Allen week in and week out is just ridiculous. They've got other guys.
Excuses for this guy.
They got to use
he's a likable guy. You
go in timeout. You go in timeout.
Hold on. He's likable. But look at Joe Burrow though. Joe Burrow he went to the Super Bowl without an offensive line.
What about Joe Burrow?
He went to the Super Bowl without an offensive line.
What about Joe Burrow? Tell me.
Hey, watch out. I think Joe will be on that list. If they go into San Francisco and win that game, you're going to see him start to creep up.
I don't see the 49ers losing 3 games in a row, but we'll find out.
Joe Burrow got the best. Joe got the best offense.
That's probably the most compelling game of the
Not
weekend.
lying, sir.
Let's see what Joe Burrow without receivers. You know what I mean? Josh Allen, all he looks for is Diggs, and Diggs don't really want to be there. But again, Patrick Mahomes is doing this with new receivers, old receivers, running backs, Travis Kelce on one leg, and he's still out here put up magic numbers.
Andy Reid's phenomenal. Andy Reid is a phenomenal offensive coordinator.
Yeah.
So let's get into the power rankings, guys. Where you rank these teams? Do you think these teams in the right order or not? Start off with Nick. Let's go.
Well, I mean, obviously, you have to look. Even without my glasses, I can see the red on top. You have to go. You have to obviously go with the Chiefs. I think they're the team to beat. There's no question about it. The Eagles are certainly, I think, the second best team. The Jaguars at 3. I'm sorry. I know they've won 4 in a row, and they beat some pretty awful teams or teams that didn't play well, and their defense is playing a little bit better. But listen, the Saints should have won that Thursday night game. They gave it away. The Bills gave it away too. And I think the top 6 is probably pretty accurate. But the Dolphins, to me,
I'm not feeling the Dolphins that high.
No, Baltimore. Yeah. Wait, Baltimore. No, Baltimore should be higher. Baltimore should be higher.
No, I don't think Baltimore should be that high. Again, Lamar Jackson has proven nothing yet in his career. He came in by storm. He won an MVP. No. He won an MVP.
Out, Nick. The power rankings are where they are right now.
I'm just saying that. I think that's still a little too high for the Ravens, to be honest with you. At this point, I think some better quality wins until I see that.
To me, the Dolphins are a little bit higher than they should be. I think they're kind of living off of that 70-point game.
True.
I think the Niners, we're kind of prisoners of the moment here. They're still one of the top 3 or 4 teams in the league. I think the Lions, he's got them dropped way too low. Again, they've lost a couple of games, but there is still a damn good football team.
But Luke, can you agree with me on this? The Cardinals is in the wrong spot. They need to be at the bottom. The Arizona Cardinals need to be at the bottom of the list.
No,
I don't know.
And
their line is pretty bad right now.
And they should.
We're certainly splitting hairs either way.
The Cardinals at least have a good coaching staff.
It's not It's not a big margin either way. It's by like percentage points.
You know what's crazy, guys? Lamar Jackson is playing at a good level right now without big name receivers right now. He's playing just like a Patrick Mahomes. He's playing without big name receivers for real, and he's getting the job done. And he went out there and put a beating on Detroit. He sized them up.
Yeah,
you know. And again, you got to get credit credit's due. I feel like Baltimore should be at least third. I put Baltimore before Miami.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because Miami, they have no defense, and like you said, just because that 70 point game against Denver, a lot of people put them high, way too high. Then now, as we trickle down to reality, they're getting beat. They're just an average team.
I think, well, I don't know about average, but I think they were saying the other day, I don't know, somebody said, I can't remember who it was. I think the one loss record of the teams they've beaten is like 8-25. I mean, it's something ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
And then the two teams that were decent that they played, they've gotten run off the field. Now, okay, injuries, everybody's injured. You know, you can make excuses. You can make excuses for anything. But absolutely. I think until they get like Jalen Ramsey back and some other players, they get healthy on the offensive line, you really don't know. So we'll see in Frankfurt. We'll see.
Yeah,
I can't wait for that game. I can't wait for that game.
Oh man, we're gonna talk a lot about that.
McDuffie's gonna lock down Tyreek Hill, I said on the last show.
Beat Denver first.
Trent McDuffie, that will be his biggest test because Tyreek Hill is a different ball game.
I heard the Chiefs Blitz was going to be on that cruise on the Rhine.
We will have a representative on that ship. Whether or not we get any video from him remains to be seen. We'll see.
But again. Let's get right into it. We last Saturday we spoke with Christian Okoye about his book signing, and it was a great interviews that we had coming up for this Thursday. What did you have to say? What did you get from it, and what should the people be looking forward in this interview?
Yeah, I think what's I said this on the show before, and I think what's great about Christian is he's just a humble soul, and the fact that he terrorized defenders on the football field, every time he ran the ball. I mean, there was if you were a 160-pound cornerback and you had to try to get in his way, which is all you could do. I mean, they were scared. There was actual fear when he ran the football, kind of like Earl Campbell did in his day. Bo Jackson, I think. Bo Jackson was just fast. But Christian had pretty good speed too.
He ran a 4.4 though, Nick. Remember, he ran a 4.4. That's speed.
Christian was surprisingly fast for a guy that size, but to have that speed and that power and his agility to be able to cut back. I mean, a lot of guys with that kind of build don't cut back, when they run and find the open holes and make adjustments on the fly. And he certainly did. But I just think the journey from where he began to where he is now, in a war-torn country, coming to the States, landing out, in the San Diego, Azusa Pacifica, and all the things that he had to deal with. And then to get to the NFL, and the culture is completely different in everywhere whatsoever, and to adjust. And then Marty arrives, and it changed his career. But off the field, he does so many charitable things. He works a lot with the Derek Thomas Foundation, the Third and Long Foundation, with he and Neil Smith. And I think what I learned is that he's the same guy that we watched on TV. He's the same guy in interviews, and he's just a humble soul. And I think this book expresses that, really dives deeply into his life. He talks about a lot of things. He talks about Steve Atwater. He talks about Marty Ball. He talks about, where he came from. And, it's one thing to talk about it. It's another thing to be open and honest and just really put it all out there. And I think this book encapsulates that.
Yeah, I think Okoye is one of my favorite running backs from the Chiefs Kingdom. Because, like I said, you got linemen and linebackers and safety fearing this man, don't want to deal with him. When the last time we can say that about any Chiefs running back? I mean, y'all would say Jamal Charles, like, yeah. He had agility, guys. He had a burst of speed
and power.
He wasn't power where?
He did
have no power.
Jamal Charles did run those.
Jamal Charles had power.
Wait. He didn't have nightmare power. He didn't have nightmare power.
That's apples and oranges. Okay.
Yeah. A different way in which he was a power runner.
Hey, you know what? Hey, Jamal Charles, bow tie over here. Hey, listen, pay attention to me, sir. It's like this. Okoye was a guy. If you put him in the playoffs, you're going to win games. You have faith in Okoye. I would take him over Jamal Charles because he can run between the tackles. He's putting fear on their best linebackers. Sure, Edward had the hit, but 9 times out of 10, if it's head to head again, Nightmare wins that battle 9 times out of 10.
Yeah.
Yeah,
probably
and
so.
It's different eras too. I mean, if you're playing in today's era, you probably want Jamal Charles on your team. I mean, him and Andy Reid's offense. I mean, he had just had a short time of it, and he was injured. But I mean, him in his prime with Andy Reid, he'd catch 90 passes, and yeah, I mean, it would just be ridiculous. But no, Okoye is a legend. I mean, I said it on Monday. Just he and Marty, marriage made in heaven.
Yep.
He was exactly what Marty was looking for. Played to his strengths, and that was just the soul of the team was defense and toughness. Toughness in the O-line, toughness in the running back position, toughness on DB. I mean, it was just rugged. If you were playing the Chiefs, you lunch pail game every single week, and you better come correct or you're going to get run over.
That's right. Okoye. That's right. He was a nightmare. Okay. He wasn't all flash and show.
Yeah, I think that
it
was
different.
Was that in the that in the book Nightmare?
Yeah, I think so.
It is.
I think there's a couple of references in the book.
Is it that time, Hense? Is that time?
Let's get in right into it, Chiefs. Ooh.
All right, strike up the band. Okay, we're here for the greatest segment on sports YouTube. Nick's neighborhood is all over this. All right, so here we go, gang. It's Chiefs Who. How well do you know your Kansas City Chiefs? Let's go. Clue number 1. I was born in Ohio.
Could be a lot of guys.
Grew up in Ohio as well. Well, we start off broad, Nick. We got to narrow it down.
All right.
He's missed 2 games in his entire career.
Travis Kelce.
He has earned an MBA. That's a master's in business administration for those of you that are so inclined. One of the top players at his position.
Grew up in Ohio. Top player of his position.
Among my college teammates are Jacoby Brissett, Nyheim Hines, BJ Hill.
No, I'm not getting it.
Jacoby Myers.
Leo Chanel.
He was already on the show before, but thanks for playing, Todd. Come on. Jermaine Pratt. These are all these guys are on the same college team.
Yeah.
Bradley Chubb.
Justin Ross.
He went to Clemson. Okay. He really likes rings.
Oh, got you.
Really?
All right, who is it?
No, all right, last clue, good. Dead giveaway. I've blocked for 2 of the most legendary quarterbacks of all time.
Number 79.
Number 62 in your program. Number 1 in your heart. Joe Tooney, ladies and gentlemen.
There you go. Man, you had me stumped on that one.
Come on, guys. Let's go.
You win the prize.
I don't win anything. You got to get it for me to win.
This one, Nick's Lou stumped everybody on this one. I was right.
That's 2 weeks in a row you stumped us, right?
I said,
no, I think Hense got the last one, didn't he?
I got the last one.
Okay, all right. So Dre, you're the only one who hasn't gotten one, right?
Not yet.
Oh man. Okay,
I will.
Yeah.
Give some love to Joe Tooney, MBA.
Yeah, you're right. He likes the rings. I got you.
So
Dre, very well done.
Dre, go ahead and give us a shout out for the people in the comment on the show today?
Well, most definitely, young man. I'm gonna give a shout out to my guy Kareem, aka Joe Delaney, and all his picks he was wrong on this one, Kareem. You was wrong on this one, sir. Shout out to Red Salsa, man. Red Salsa, my guy. Waiting for the spicy red salsa, sir. Again, guys, keep showing the love and spread the love as well, guys.
Go ahead, Nick.
Yep. No, absolutely. And we do. We want to thank everybody. I mean, this is a labor of love, and we love bantering with each other. I kind of like our Wednesday segments. It's just four guys sitting in a bar. So I think the Wednesday show should be called Four Guys Sitting in a Bar.
I like that.
I think we're gonna
or the old guys versus new guys.
Four guys laying up in a chair, feet out with some cold ice cold water.
I don't know about you guys, but I got bourbon in my glass, so I'll fit right in. Let's go.
No. Just water for me.
Just coffee for me.
So you're that guy at the bar drinking water. All right, Nick.
Yeah.
Hey, game picks real quick. I'm going with Buffalo. Yeah. Buffalo Thursday night
football. Yeah.
Going with Buffalo Thursday night.
Hense, who you got?
I'm going with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
All right.
Mr. Tillman.
I gotta go with my guy, one of the most underrated, greatest quarterbacks of this time.
Stop it, sir.
The great Baker man himself. I gotta go with Baker. Man.
Listen, I want to take the Bucs so bad, but I think on a short week, the Bucs lost to the Falcons at home.
I know.
Oof.
Yeah.
Baker's looked pedestrian the last couple of games. So I'm going to go against the grain. I think the Bills win this football game to kind of sort of get back on track a little bit. But man, they got a brutal schedule coming up. So this is probably their last easy win for a while.
Josh Allen going to throw 3 interceptions this game, and they're going.
Well, maybe he will. And there's a lot of pressure on him, and there's a lot of pressure on the a lot of pressure on this coaching staff. That's for sure. But
Mike Evans going to eat. Mike Evans going to eat.
All right.
Mike Evans going to eat. Yeah.
As a reminder, tomorrow we'll have the Christian Okoye interview up. I want to thank everybody who goes to ChiefsBlitz.com. Continue to like our page. Again, the goal on YouTube is 1,000 subscribers by the end of the year. We got a long way to go. But whoever is number 1,000 is going to get a piece of my personal memorabilia that I guarantee will have a value over $250. So I'm putting my money where my mouth is. I got a lot of stuff, and I want to spread some of that love to a few people and make sure that they can share the passion. But definitely need to get our subscribers up. So just go to our YouTube channel, just hit subscribe. It's free. Got a few surprises I'm working on. We're hopefully going to be announcing those in 2 weeks. I know I say that a lot, but I really want to make sure that we get the proper commitments and we're doing the thing the right way. Christian Okoye was a big get for us. We're excited about that. And we hope to bring you that kind of style of interviewing, just kind of no script, wherever the conversation goes, the conversation goes. So
I want to talk to
we'll be back Friday. We'll have our game picks for the weekend. We'll preview the Donkeys. We'll talk about hopefully nobody else is in the police blotter news for the week. And that now that we know that Frank Clark's not coming back, could be the reason why they re-signed Mike Pennell to the practice squad. So, hey, I wish Frank the best. I hope he gets that sack record in Seattle. That's where his career began. It's probably good for him to be going back home. But
I think it was number 90 that sealed that case on Frank.
Charles Amen, he's pretty good too.
Really? A lot younger too. So
definitely a lot younger. All right, guys. Thanks a lot. We'll see you Friday. And again, check out our interview tomorrow on Thursday with the great Nigerian Nightmare, Mr. Christian Okoye. We'll see you guys Friday.
And before I close out, go Sporting KC. Are we rooting for you?
Wednesday night.
You win tonight.
A Wednesday night elimination game. It's a big weekend around here. I mean, you've got KU football Saturday against Oklahoma. Fox Sports is going to broadcast that. And then my beloved Kansas Jayhawks basketball team will play their first exhibition game on Sunday at the same time the Chiefs probably have put 30 points up on the Broncos, so it might be safe to go back and forth at that point. Nonetheless, guys, we want to thank you all again, and we'll see you Friday.
All right, guys.